Let's move on to some to ways to prevent this, if possible. So, are there tips that you have for ways to avoid having this frame flex happen to you in the first place? So, is there any preventive maintenance that you can do? What do you think that an RV owner can and should be doing to minimize the chance of this happening?
So to minimize it, I think again, it's a long number of topics, but I think it needs to start right out of the gate with educating the RV owner. When it goes to the frame flex issue, there's so many things that we see as a repair shop that can, in result, cause that damage. So I'm trying not to get off track, but like there was a whole controversy about Swintech side outs, right?
Right.
Well, we're seeing all these side outs breaking, but they're not breaking in a motorhome because the motorhome has a better suspension than a fifth wheel or travel trailer. So one thing I would suggest and recommend is the suspension that's on these coaches is generally the cheapest suspension out there. Some basic springs, I joke around, I call it 1950 technology, but there are other suspension upgrades that the end user can do to make it better, which reduces 60 to 70% of the jarring and shaking and vibration. Same as the braking systems too. So there's braking systems that are designed to operate better to slow the vehicle down. Another item would be the pin boxes. So a lot of the fifth wheels that are being released just have a generic, I'm going to call it again 1950 pin box. It's just a metal steel box. There's no dampeners in place. There's no slides in place. There's nothing to prevent all that jarring and shaking. And then, it comes to the vehicle, do they have the right vehicle to tow that huge fifth wheel, or even a small fifth wheel? So is the vehicle underrated for the load that they're carrying? Is it kind of, it's good enough, it's borderline? Have they looked into adding any sumo springs or Firestone airbags or anything to kind of help support it, or any leaf spring enhancements to help beef it up? Again, we're trying to stop, the bouncing and the shaking of that cab.
So you spend some money now to potentially
now.
save a lot later, right?
Oh yeah. Same thing with your fifth wheels, having the right brand, so you're talking about the right brand of truck or load carrying capacity, the right fifth wheel with the right pin box, with this huge trailer with the right suspension. And if any one of those components isn't right, it's going to cause a problem. As well as, again, going back to the consumer and to do some training, what if, we'll give you two scenarios, it's a young guy, just got left with some money, just went and bought a brand new, 1 ton and big 40-footer toy hauler. How is he driving that? Is he driving it like it's a 4-wheel drive off-road vehicle and just goes off of curbs and, brakes hard, accelerates hard? Or is it,
donuts in the parking lot with the RV, right?
Overloading it, so, and is it that, I have one where it was again, come back to it, it's a lawsuit, but the guy was having problems with his leveling jacks and they kept bending and breaking the frame and stuff. Well, he's an old truck driver. He'd put it in gear and bam, slam that thing in and to lock it in like he would his truck. And when he had accelerate hard. And when he braked hard, and, and it just caused damage.
Right.
So there's a lot of, that comes into play. Weight comes into play. We're throwing a lot of stuff in our pickup truck and then connect, so now we're re-overloading the truck, or maybe we've, put too much, we've added a generator where there wasn't a generator. We've added additional batteries up front. We've added, we've stuffed that compartment full as we can get it. So I've seen every scenario, not just, whether you were on, I call it the fence, right? And the manufacturer is doing something wrong and the frame manufacturer is doing something wrong and it's leaning boards against that fence and causing it to tip which is going to break, right?
I think that last one is a really great point too, Dustin. So, if it's been a while since you've weighed your RV, take it to a waste station. Chances
Absolutely.
are very high that it has changed and likely gotten heavier, isn't it?
It,